A wet hiss of neon was the last metronome of a campus that had once throbbed with life. Rain had vanished, as if edited from existence. Dust still wheeled lazily in its place, curls of gray spiraling through the cratered street, where Damian pushed himself upright. Each breath tasted of scorched concrete and ozone, as though some unseen storm had burned the air clean and left only the memory of lightning. The creature was gone, or perhaps it had never been. What remained was its gravitational dent, an absence that warped the night around him, glass bent by heat. He steadied himself with the familiar, the library dome, the clock tower spire, the cafe sign that always flickered out on Thursday nights, all present, all subtly wrong. The tower's hands were frozen at 10:09. The neon cafe script, locked in a manic strobe that felt less faulty wiring than coded warning.
"You're alive,"
he told himself.
"Move."
Each shuffled step crackled the gravel, the sound ringing back from dark facades, as if the city's hollow arteries echoed his pulse. The Humanities building reared ahead, its glass doors crazed like sheets of fractured ice. Lectures had once dragged here. Now the facade looked like a mausoleum for abandoned ideas. The open quad behind him felt carnivorous, so Damian squeezed through the doorway, shards crunching beneath his soles. The lobby exhaled a stale, basement-cold breath. Fluorescent strips overhead flickered in frantic Morse, throwing jump-cut shadows across terrazzo. Near the toppled security desk, an orientation kiosk lay on its back, screen cracked into a spiderweb of dying pixels. Static rolled once, twice, then arrested on a single frame, a student leader mid-wave, grin wide, frozen in perpetual welcome. Even through the glitch, Damian recognized her. Marina Reyes, Kemeng Sr., the laugh he'd memorized during cafeteria lineups. Color bled from the image, Marina's features dissolving into gray noise before the monitor guttered out with a sigh. Whatever had spared him had not spared circuitry or memories. A rogue draft wound through the shattered entrance, snatching scattered pamphlets, Career Fair Thursday, and spinning them into frantic cyclones that slapped his legs like panicked birds. His heart lurched before reason decoded the sound, leaving a dry chuckle caught in his throat. He edged deeper into the corridor, drawn toward the sputter of a failing exit sign that pulsed like a dying heartbeat. Lobby lights blinked in epileptic Morse, throwing lunatic shadows over terrazzo. A security desk lay on its side, coffee mug shattered. Grad advisor, brown stains fossilized like dried blood. When Damian lifted the dangling phone handset, only a long whisper of dead air answered. He replaced it with reverence. The hush around him thick as theater silence before the curtains rise. Flyers layered the corridor corkboard, Free Climb Club, Found Keys, Tiny Turtle Charm, Study Jam, Midnight to Dawn. Edges curled as though decades had passed in days. He brushed one paper disintegrated at his touch. Behind the ragged flyers, someone had scrawled directly onto plaster in a substance too dark for ink.
"Listen for the scrape. Don't trust the light."
Damian traced the word, scrape, with a trembling finger, unsure if the stain had once been blood or lab dye. Either way, the warning felt addressed to him alone. A hallway split ahead. Left, familiar lecture rooms. Right, a descending staircase to basement labs chemistry, geology, server nodes. Acid metallic vapor drifted up from below. His rational mind muttered, "Basements are traps." A lonelier instinct argued,
"If anyone hid, they hid low."
Wooden treads groaned under his weight, the banister sticky with humidity. At the landing, motion lights failed to spark. He thumbed his phone 32% battery, no bars, and pierced the darkness with its weak cone. Lockers yawned open, lab coats lay piled like shed skins, brown-black spatters at the hems. A distant clang resounded metallic, hollow followed by a molasses silence. The floor vibrated a hair's breadth beneath his boots, as though the building breathed when he held still. Somewhere, something small skittered. He spun, but saw only a microscope trolley rocking on a single, liberated wheel. He understood then. The corridors moved when he didn't. Floorboards creaked. Vents sighed only in the pauses between his own noises, as though the structure were listening. A door halfway down the hall hung ajar. Red exit glyphs flowed over a puddle beneath it, ink black, viscous, trembling to an unseen pulse. It looked too similar to the nightmare eyes he'd fled, and yet no eyes stared back. Only that patient ripple. Psychological or real, he could not decide. The decision made itself. He retreated up the stairs, lungs tight with chemical cold. The door plaque still read, Midterm Review 4. Inside, fluorescent tubes flickered in cannibal rhythms. Desks had been barricaded, chairs overturned, tabletops wedged in frantic geometry. Scrawled notes littered the floor. They burst like falling mountains. Rubble hides their approach. Listen for the roar. Oh, stay low, stay together. A heavier weight pinned one sheet at the podium. Damian knelt. Student ID Marina Reyes, smiling in bright daylight, sun caught in her hair. Beneath the plastic, black Sharpie.
If you find this, keep moving.
The card rattled between his fingers. She had been here, maybe was still here, somewhere in the labyrinth of halls. From the ceiling came a slow, tentative creak. He looked up. Lighting cages swayed on their chains, dust raining like sifted bone meal. In the hush that followed, a faint tapping began on the far chalkboard. A stub of chalk, unseen, wrote in jerking strokes.
Why are you safe, Damian?
The letters finished. The chalk snapped and fell. His pulse thundered. No creature waited in the dark. Just that accusing sentence hanging in the air. He backed out, dragging breath, heart hammering so loud it felt like footsteps. The lobby doors possessed no power. Their sensors were blind. He found a metal bench and rammed it through the already fractured glass. Night air flooded in, cold and welcome. Shards chimed across worn tile as he hurtled the threshold into the quad. No pursuing shadow. Yet every lamp he passed dimmed, as though his presence quenched the electricity. Somewhere, a clock tower bell tolled a single time, then devolved into a scraping drone like metal against bone. He zigzagged between sculptures, the damp stone slick beneath trainers. At the library steps, he paused, adrenaline vibrating in his calves. 3 windows reflected the nightscape, but his own silhouette appeared fragmented, edges feathered as though the world could no longer focus on him. A breath of wind carried a distant voice, one syllable, maybe his name, maybe static. He spun. Nothing. Motion sensor lights winked to life in domino rows, illuminating endless shelves. The hush felt almost grateful for company. Among philosophy, a study desk lamp still burned over an open notebook. Its final line, raw and slanted. The hollow night remembers every footstep. It copies them and plays them back until you forget which ones are yours. As he read, the lamp fluttered, whiting out the words, then steadied. Between two aisles, he caught a flicker of motion, something human-sized slipping behind quantum mechanics for engineers. He froze.
Hello?
His whisper seemed sacrilegious. Silence pressed. Then, from the mezzanine above the rotunda, footsteps, real footsteps, ran 3 beats and stopped. A shape leaned over the railing, framed by dying emergency strobes. Torn hoodie, hair matted, face pale. Marina Reyes, their eyes locked across the gulf. She raised a shaking finger to her lips.
Quiet.
Then pointed insistently toward a side stairwell.
Down.
Before Damian could nod, the strobes blinked off. In the pitch, shelves groaned as though distended by breath. When the lights returned a heartbeat later, the balcony railing was empty. The library's central floor trembled, a deep tectonic shiver. Overhead, the stained glass skylight fissured in ice crack patterns. Damian ducked as glittering shards scattered like lethal confetti. The whispering began again, swelling from 100 unseen throats. Not words this time, but the rhythmic echo of his own panicked breaths, thrown back at him out of sync. Electric green exit signs winked out one by one, compressing the light around him until only a moon-slice glow bled through the broken skylight. He understood finally the question the chalk had scrawled. Whatever intelligence stalked these halls was not a beast of flesh. It was a curator cataloging which rules of reality still applied and which could be broken. And somehow, Damian remained outside its calculus of harm safe for reasons he could not name. A single fluorescent tube above hissed, spat sparks, then steadied into brutal white. It illuminated the side stairwell Marina had indicated. A torn scrap of pamphlet lay on the first step. Turtle keyring ink smeared across it like a signature, a breadcrumb or a farewell. Damian inhaled, feeling the building hold its breath with him. The whispers fell silent. Glass tinkled distant, lonely. Somewhere in the maze of stacks, Marina might still be moving, or hiding, or already lost. He set his foot on the stair, and the light above him died. Total black swallowed the rotunda. A heartbeat later, from deep below, 2 soft footfalls answered his own. 1 beat behind, like a mocking echo. Damian gripped the rail, eyes useless, and ascended into the dark, chasing the ghost of someone he loved and the answer to the library's question. Was this world the new reality, or merely the prologue to something worse?